How was your holiday? Well, between you and me, I've had too much of that ham, pasta, and even lechon during the break. So today, I'm looking to burn off some of those Christmas, New Year, Three Kings calories. Besides, I'm looking forward to Chinese New Year and Valentine's. I'm Anthony Pangilinan, and in this episode of The Boardroom, we extend the holiday feast just a bit by enjoying good food once again and good company. But I gotta do a couple of these. Oh! Whew. After bringing the Ateneo Blue Eagles basketball team to UAAP Championship in 2008, Chris Stew focused his energy on a number of businesses, including a franchise of Eric Kayser. Together with two other partners, Chris introduced the Philippines to the artisanal bakery from France, offering a wide selection of breads, cakes, and other delicious treats that are produced and baked daily. With more than 140 branches around the world, Chris Stew hopes to bring Eric Kayser's high-quality artisanal goods to the Filipinos with more branches and new menu items.
Hey, Anthony. What brings you here?
Chris, exactly what brings you here, man. Question, gym work really work?
Of course, that's why we're doing it, right?
No, I don't know. I'm doing it because everybody's doing it this time of the year.
Yeah, of course it works. Well, especially for me as an athlete, we need to work out to be physically fit during competition, to strengthen the muscles and to avoid injury, and so that I'm in condition. When I run up and down the court, I won't, be catching my breath.
So you can't just increase strength and all these skills on the court?
On the court? No. You gotta supplement it with lifting weights here in the gym.
What, therefore, is a holistic approach to fitness overall? So gym work.
That's one. You gotta lift weights, you gotta strengthen those muscles, you gotta do cardio to improve your cardiovascular energy. You gotta do the skill work, practice with your team. That's for me, as a basketball player. You need to rest, If you work out like there's no tomorrow and you don't rest, your performance would suffer as well, and you gotta eat healthy.
But I rested too long. So it's a holistic approach.
Yes,
right?
sir.
And so it is with business.
Exactly.
Ganon din sa negosyo. So if there's one thing that you would say is similar between running a business and succeeding in sports, I'm sure there are many things, but
too many.
Isa lang.
There's one thing, you gotta have the right strategy and you gotta execute it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, isa lang yan. We can talk about that all day. It's too many to talk about.
Yeah, but we can't talk about it now, not here, because we're not going to finish this interview. Mapapagod ako.
Oh, tama nga. So, I think we better go to the boardroom.
Oh, huh? I thought you'd never ask.
Let's do it. Okay.
I was intrigued by the fact that most, if not all, of your businesses that you started came from savings.
Yes.
Because the perception is when we come from families that have had businesses, then it's all care of daddy or mom.
True,
but in this case, it was your saving.
No, all my businesses were from my personal savings.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough to be in industries where I'm able to save up early. In the TV industry, I did endorsements. I played basketball, so we had contracts or income that was, I would say, relatively bigger than any normal graduate would be receiving in the corporate world, right?
But that's not typical. Okay, you said I was able to save up early. Mm-hmm. Most people will say I was able to earn for myself early. It doesn't follow that you're going to save. Who made you save? Was it a personal decision you made? Was it because you were asked by your parents to save? Where did that come from?
Oh my God, I think it's the years of upbringing my parents. They've always taught us that we should spend wisely and only when needed. And not just my immediate family, but even my friends, with that kind of mindset that we should save up, for the future and for rainy days.
So what do you think made you succeed with the approval of your chinky chicken proposal?
Well, that was my very first business. I was a senior in Ateneo. Mm-hmm. I was playing basketball at the time with the Blue Eagles, and I was also trying to graduate. There was a student enterprise center that was set up. It was newly set up, and there was a vacant stall. So my friends and I, there are two other Chinese classmates. That's why it's called Chinky Chicken.
Chinky Chicken because three Chinese.
Yeah, exactly. We were all Chinky guys, and we said we wanted to do business. So with a mere savings that we have from our allowance, we saved up 6,000 pesos each, I think, and we set up Chinky Chickens, which was a a food stall where we sold anything chicken teriyaki, chicken lollipop.
Right, and did that work?
Yeah, we made our money back in, I think, less than a year.
So several businesses after,
Yeah.
and several years, if not decades after, how does Chris Chu make decisions? Because if there's one thing that I was surprised about, looking at the different guests we've had in the show, is the number of businesses you've actually started and you've gotten into. So ano ang basis ni Chris when he decided?
Actually, I think it's pretty simple. I get into something that I'm passionate about because I like my business to be something I enjoy doing.
So food.
Food, definitely, and I don't want to feel like it's a burden or it's work to me.
Okay.
And when you're enjoying something, you don't need motivation. I mean, it's natural. It comes naturally. Like my first business outside of Ateneo was my friends and I brought in Happy Lemon, which was an international franchise.
And you have over 20
milk tea.
branches now.
Yes.
Right. So that was also food.
Yeah, because I was crazy about milk tea. So when I decided, I guess it has to be something I'm passionate about and something that's practical.
Well, you also have this bake shop, and
Yes.
that's got to do with your time in France, right?
Yes, that's right. I did an exchange program when I was in college. I spent 6 months in a city called Lille, in northern France. And there I took business courses, but at the same time I was exposed to the French culture and French food. A few years later, my partner now, Jackie Ang, came up to me and invited me to join her in bringing Eric Kayser to the Philippines. So I did. So she invited me. I did my research. I went to France. I went to Hong Kong, and where Eric Kayser was present. And then I really loved the products as well. And the business model also, which we can talk about later. So I said, okay, let's do this.
We're beginning to find out that Chris Chu isn't just about basketball. There is baking, there is business, off-cam and even on-cam. And success hasn't been far behind, with basketball championships and even winning the Outstanding Young Men Award in 2013 for his contributions to youth leadership development. Now, where does he intend to bring all these lessons and experiences next? We find out when the boardroom returns. And I take this snack. The folks at Eric Kayser make use of traditional recipes and techniques using only the best ingredients in the market. But there are people behind this that makes it happen. I'd like to introduce one of them, our overall store manager, Micah. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Okay, so tell us, how do you differentiate what makes Eric Kayser different from all the other bakeries?
Well, first of all, Eric Kayser is very proud to say that it totally uses preservative-free, additive-free formulation to cater to the foreign and local market to provide top-notch and finest French pastries and breads here in the Philippines.
Whew, that's tough.
Yes.
So how is it working in this kind of environment?
Oh yeah, I'm very proud to say that the teams and I from the 5 stores, we have a very harmonious relationship, and we get to encounter different kinds of people every day.
Just like your breads and pastries, so many
Exactly,
varieties.
so many varieties, and you get to encounter people from the foreign and the local market.
But just between us, okay? How is it to work with your boss, Chris Chu? What is one thing you can say that is so unique about him?
Well, that's a tough question, but Chris as a boss is a very hands-on person.
Okay.
It's like he knows what he wants to happen. It's like a laser eye goal for him that we have to achieve these kinds of things, and he's there every step of the way.
Are you describing him as a boss for Eric Kayser or as a boss of a basketball team? Because it's the same, right?
Yeah, it's
hands-on,
different.
focus on the goal, right? And keep going until it's done. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Micah. Amazing. Let's continue our interview with our laser-focused Chris. You can't play all roles. What role are you most comfortable doing?
I like conceptualizing. I like, yes, you said it, strategizing, especially the start of a business. And then we form teams that can help us execute it. Also, I think a lot of my business style, I try to emulate my dad, my uncles, and my father-in-law in doing business and their leadership style. And not even just in business, but even the values that they possess.
So what would be one thing that you'd really love to, if you could just get that from your dad or
One
your family,
thing?
put it inside you. Come on, Chris, keep that inside. Keep that there. Let it stay there.
I think industriousness is a given. You can't succeed if you're not hardworking. Another thing would be, I like how they're able to push their managers and their people, push them to the limit. They can be hard on them, but at the end of the day, they sincerely care about them, and their people know that. That's why they're so well loved.
But right now, you're actually hands-on.
Yes, right now.
You were described by one of your key people as a hands-on person. Nakatutok ka talaga.
Kailangan eh. I mean,
so kailangan
yes.
because something happened. I think you had a partner who had to pass on a responsibility to you.
Because initially when Eric Kayser started, I was not the managing partner. It was Jackie Ang who was running it, but she got busy and she asked me if I could take on the managing partner role, which I did. And now I'm still in the learning phase, and there's some changes that I'd like to do also in the organization. That's why I'm very much hands-on.
Well, you are in competition with other players in every field you enter.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
How do you compete when you actually compete in several fields?
I try to read a lot. I try to know as much information as I can. But at the end of the day, you can't do it yourself, and that's what I learned in basketball. And I'm glad I've been in basketball all my life, or in sports for that matter, in a team sport.
Even in basketball, the different zones, things happening all at the same time.
Yeah,
so you're gonna have to.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the value that the team, being in a team sport, has given me. You're able to utilize and use the strength of the team in fighting your battles. And many times I get the credit, but really a lot of the credit goes to the people that I work with. And 3 would be, for me, it's more of focusing on ourselves and on excellence, And I believe that if we're able to execute well and focus on ourselves and deliver, excellent products, excellent service.
What makes Eric Kayser excellent in a sense that it's part of an industry now where a lot is natural, a lot is organic.
Yeah.
So what makes it stand out?
The reason also why we chose Eric Kayser is because I like the business model. Eric Kayser has started in Paris, and it's grown. But what I like about the business model is that Eric Kayser himself, Chef Eric Kayser, would require all the franchisees or licensees to invest in a facility in the country so that all products are made fresh. And he requires a French chef who is present in the facility. So
the authenticity of it all, no?
Exactly. And also to be able to adapt to the weather, to the humidity, because that's what makes and breaks bread. And what makes Eric Kayser special also is he has patented this machine. It's called the Fermento Levain machine, which allows the liquid levain. This is like the DNA of bread. It's called liquid levain. We don't use yeast, unlike other bakeries.
Right.
You feed it with flour, with water, so that it grows and it's always alive. And he has patented this machine that sets the right temperature, right humidity, and that continues to feed it at the right time. So this is the secret ingredient that makes the breads of Eric Kayser tastier. It's a creamier flavor. The texture, it's soft on the inside, and then it allows the shelf life or the product life to be longer.
I thought I was talking to a baker here.
Yes, I told you I was hands-on. I learned everything.
It's interesting that when you talk about business model, you did not talk about, franchise fees and rate of return and,
That's secondary for me.
That's secondary.
Yeah, I think more than the numbers, it's what the brand is all about and how they value quality and service.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
so
you've
I
seen.
look more into that because numbers it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy to say, but if the brand is not big on quality, like if they're out there just to make profit, then it doesn't make sense.
Hi, Ma'am. Hi, sir. Good morning.
Eric Kayser wants to make it clear that his French-based shop is not a chain, but an artisanal bakery that produces over 60 varieties of bread, over 50 types of cakes, and a whole range of savory dishes and treats to choose from. For these guys, the number one criteria is taste, and the number one goal is quality. Let's see how Chris scored when he brought this international brand to local courts when the boardroom returns. Good taste isn't the only promise that Eric Kayser makes to its customers, but also freshness and quality. All the products produced, made available in the stores, are made with no additives nor preservatives, and this is a practice all customers worldwide appreciate. What is the future for Eric Kayser in the Philippines? We find out from Chris Chu himself. Okay, I asked you 3 questions on 3 areas.
Okay.
Let's try to do this quickly.
Okay.
Keys to success in basketball.
Having a competitive drive.
Okay. How about baking or having a bakery?
Serving fresh products with quality ingredients.
Okay. Business overall.
Having a good strategy and being able to execute it well.
Okay. Now, sure ways to fail in basketball. Siguradong talo ka niyan kung gagawin mo to.
Being complacent.
Okay. How about in bakery?
Shortcutting the production process.
And in business overall, sure way to fail.
Thinking you know everything.
Okay. So what inspires you and how do you stay inspired?
I like to learn new things, not just in my industry, but in different industries. And another thing that inspires me is being able to help our country to improve the lives of the Filipinos. And in the future, I'd like to initiate or to start projects that have even more significant impact to the nation.
So where are you bringing all this into the future? Where's the future for Chris?
For me?
Engagements, yeah.
In business?
As a whole, yeah.
No, basketball can't last forever, right? So
at least not as a player.
Not as a player, that's true.
Do you see yourself staying in the industry?
Definitely. Not necessarily in a competitive basketball setting. Maybe the grassroots level. I'd like to develop or give opportunities to the young Filipinos to pursue something they're passionate about. And basketball is obviously usually on the top of their list.
How about bakeries? What's the next step there? Are you looking at several branches?
Yes, we plan to expand, open maybe a cafe. Because now most of our branches are grab and go. So we'd like to, we're exploring the possibility of opening a cafe for Kayser. And also introduce new products. And then we'll see how it goes.
In business overall?
In business...
do you have a dream project? I mean, if you were to set aside concern for money, energy, resources, which are all limited, but let's say you had the chance to do what you wanted to do with whatever you needed, what would that be?
Yep. One of the projects is what I'm doing right now is about renewable energy.
Renewable.
Yeah, that's what I want to focus on also right now and get the power plants to run and to deliver clean energy that's harnessed from water to produce power. But after that, I would like to focus on the education sector, healthcare, maybe in agriculture. Yeah, I believe that education is levels the playing field, for the Filipinos or for people in general, and allows them to be self-sustaining.
Let's go to advice to the young. What is one encouragement you have for those who want to get into the business today?
Don't be afraid to fail. It sounds so cliche, but that's true. And focus. A lot of times, especially the millennials nowadays, they like to do everything. They like to try everything. Nothing wrong with that. But once you choose something, you gotta focus. You gotta invest in the time, resources, and your energy in making it work.
And if you had a warning, a word of warning to those who are gonna get into business now, what would that be?
There are no shortcuts to success.
Okay.
You can't make money fast. I think that's one of the common temptations for the young ones nowadays. They want to make it up there fast. They want to make money fast. Everything is shortcut. But there's no secret recipe, but a lot of perseverance, a lot of hard work. You have to go through failures. The biggest business people, if you read up their stories, you'll see that they've all gone through failures.
Right.
And they've learned from that. And I guess those who make it big are those who are able to rise up above it and to learn from that experience. Another thing is to pursue something you're passionate about. That's one advice. Because like I said, it won't feel like work. It'll come out naturally. You'll want to do more. You'll want to learn more, and there's no external force that needs to push you to deliver.
Family in all this? Where is the family in all this?
I want the family to grow. For sure.
Congratulations, you're 7-month-old.
Thank you. Yes, I have a 7-month-old
And that's
daughter.
done something to you.
It's changed my life. It's the best thing that happened to me. Even made me happier than any basketball championship, any business venture that has succeeded. It's really made me so happy, and I'd like to have more.
So here's
hopefully, God willing.
Yes, and we'd love to follow your story, growing your business, your basketball career, your bakery, and of course your family.
Yeah.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us in the boardroom.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. You can get into basketball, baking, business, even show business, but do it in such a way that the how is distinctly you. And in this case, Chris Tew. Join me again next week as we engage some of the country's top business leaders, innovators, and executives. I'm Anthony Pangilinan, and this is The Boardroom.